Happy Memorial Day, guys. Thank you for all the soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice so we could do stuff like this and build lizard cages. Today the plan is to build some giant 8-foot by 4-foot Lexan doors and to mess with the giant tube. Hey guys, just a real quick overview of materials on how we're making the doors. It's super simple. So we're basically just putting up a normal box. It's hard to do where you're looking at the camera. A normal box like we did on the walls, and then we have a center support as well. Then we're throwing these are just real thin gauge, probably 16 maybe 18 gauge 050 063 thick 90-degree angle brackets on the back side of all the doors after you put the Lexan on. The Lexan is really what you're going to be using to hold the door frame square. A lot of 2x2 stock is going to be warped and not straight. So basically put your whole frame together, then put your Lexan on that frame, push the door frame around underneath the Lexan and screw it in as you go just to make it all square to the Lexan sheet. Then go on the back side, screw these things on with just normal 1-inch drywall screws, and then that should be able to take a lot of the load off the Lexan so you don't end up with a ripple in it when you actually hang the doors. And that's pretty much it. And this is what a nice and finished door looks like. So it's just a 4x8 Lexan sheet, lots of screws in it to keep it from flexing a little bit, and then on the back side we have our angle brackets on all 4 corners, and we're not using any on the center support. So we're gonna do all those, and then we'll one thing on Lexan is it is a resin, so it's not going to crack as easily as plexiglass, but you're still going to want to use self-tapping screws. So we use Phillips head button, number 8 Phillips head button head self-tapping screws that are 3/4 inches long. That's what we're using for the PVC sheets on the walls as well as all around the Lexan sheets. They seem to work really well. They hold enough for what we're doing, and they haven't been cracking anything on entry, so that's really all that matters. But we're gonna crank out, we need 7 of these that are 4x8 for the fronts of the main enclosures, and then 2 of them that are like 4x6, I believe, for the upper areas where you're actually gonna be able to walk into some of the enclosures from the upper deck. So pretty cool. Keep feeding. Toothless Reptiles top tip moment. Are you ready for another awesome tip of the day? If you're having to build pretty much anything, make some spacers. So what we have here is our 4x8 frame for the doors, and we made a couple spacers. So we just have one spacer, two spacers, and we can just throw those in and slide that center support straight up to it, and then we don't got to break out the tape measure. So we'll go ahead and get those in there, and that's it. Then you got your side piece. That sounds horrible. You have your middle support all set up where you want it, and then you can just screw it in. Makes assembly a lot easier, and we'll keep moving forward. Top tip moment. Some of you guys might be wondering, hey, Corey, why did you buy a 20-foot long, 2-foot diameter, gigantic corrugated black pipe? Well, Brio Santino is about to demonstrate how the lizards will consequently use this black pipe as a way of, I don't know, having fun, I guess. It's worth it to me for the lizards to have fun. Are you coming, buddy, or what? Parenting. You don't need to shut it. It's a pincher bug. It can't lift the top of that box. Because guess why, people? It's a friggin' pincher bug. It's not going to get away. And there's 9 bajillion out here. Go. Crawl through the tube. From the other side. Okay, he's going to demonstrate. Pretend you're a croc monitor. Oh, you're just a croc monitor. Just having fun being a croc monitor. Oh, it's starting to roll. Oh, there it goes. You're almost through, buddy. Get it. Get it. Yay! Okay, that's all the assistance I need. Thank you very much for your assistance. We needed that demonstration so the people would know what we were doing. So basically the idea here is actually we're gonna cut off about 12 inches of this front section, cut that off, and then cut that in half minus about a 4-inch strip. So it'll be a little less than half of a diameter of the pipe, and that is actually going to be used underneath the walls. It'll get mounted under the walls, so the walls will be flat at ground level, and then it'll have a dip where we have that mounted, and then flat, and that's where the rivers will pass through into the other enclosures. And then there's also a grate that my brother was nice enough to water jet out for us at my parents' business, and that'll actually just slide right in there, and it'll be captured in between 2 of the corrugates, so the lizards can't push it in and out, so they won't be able to push it in or out, and all the water will still be able to pass through fine, and it'll act as kind of a skimmer, I guess, if you will. The holes are going to be pretty decent sized, because I don't want anything to get backed up and flood. But if there is any large debris in the river, it'll get stopped right there, and I can just clean those periodically. But that's pretty much the plan for that. And then you might be asking me, hey, Corey, what are you going to do with the remaining 19 feet? Well, funny you should ask that, because I'm going to use this stuff as croc monitor lay boxes. So the idea is that we're going to cut up this thing into sections, maybe a few 4-foot long sections, and bury them in the ground at a 45-degree angle. And then I can fill that about halfway with my normal laybox material mix that I normally make. And then I also have heating pads, a small, I think it's 11 by 17. I ordered a bunch of 11 by 17. I think they're 32 watt heat pads. So those are going to go underneath before I bury the tube. And then on top of that, also inside these pipes is going a dome Lorex camera that actually has, it's a 4K camera with color night vision. So we'll actually be able to get all the monitors on video when they go to lay eggs, and we'll be able to document all that stuff as well. And so should be pretty cool, and I'll walk you through when we make all those lay boxes as well. Should be pretty neat. Keep Okay guys, so that's it for today, and that's pretty much all we're gonna get done before they start putting in the building tomorrow. I got my trusty sidekick over there working on putting a bunch of screws in a box for me, and we got our gigantic 18-foot reach ladder. We actually got 2 of them so we can actually reach everywhere inside of all of the enclosures and to be able to put all the walls up. And we finished all of our doors. The 2 doors on top are actually only 7 foot 4 inches tall because they're going on top of the deck that'll go in, which you guys will see when it all comes to fruition. The rest of the 7 other doors are the front door enclosures, the front enclosure doors, which will be 4 by 8 as well. And then we cut up some of the pieces, which you should have seen on the time lapse. It was a real quick and easy process. We basically just cut off a small section of the end of the pipe and then cut a section out of it to make it less than 2 feet in diameter, and then we cut that in half. So these should be set up, and I can show you kind of exactly what we're trying to do here. So basically you have the enclosure wall sitting, the dirt is down here just like it is now, and then the river wants to run through under the wall. So these sections will be screwed underneath the wall, and then that grate will actually slide in here and sit in between the corrugates so the animals can't swim under the wall into the other enclosures. And that's how that should work. So hopefully that'll work really well. And then the remainder of this tubing we're going to use for the lay boxes like I talked about before, but I'll save that for a later video, how we're going to set all those up. But hopefully we kind of have enough stuff pre-built to where we don't have to build everything when the building goes up. So we should be able to at least get all the walls set, and then everything else is kind of just plug and play as we go. The only other stuff that's going to be a pain and a long process is all the electrical, because we are running a bunch of 220. The lighting we're actually using is European 220, as well as the swamp coolers 220. All that stuff is 220. So but one quick thing I wanted to do real quick was to walk up on top of this gigantic ladder with you guys on here so you can see how tall it is. And I have muddy feet, so I might die, but it's like, it's gonna give you vertigo, because it gives me vertigo and I rock climb. So, but this is how tall the enclosures are gonna be. So my head right now is about 16 feet off the ground, and as you can see pretty much everything, a lot of stuff here in Alpine. And there is the trusty assistant down there. Say hi, Bree.
Hi.
But pretty cool. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Building starts going up tomorrow, so we'll start that time lapse tomorrow hopefully, and I'll get all that stuff up and running for you guys, and you'll be able to see the whole building go up, which is pretty neat. Keep feeding, keep feeding.